boats roll out across the deep green channel water. As they gather speed for Flanders, they cut their nets away. It's not herring they'll be pulling from the waters on this morning. They'll reap a bitter harvest from the fires of Calais. Leagues from shore I see the amber-cloaked horizon. At the lee the coast of Dover, of the Channel wave, where waters used to sing the song to soothe the hearts of fishers. Now you hear the rolling thunder from the fires of Calais. Nosing close to shore, this armada bent on rescue. I could curse the men behind the desks who spend our lives this way. I never signed aboard to save them from the bloody lack of planning that strands these fine young men beneath the fires of Calais. Allied confusion, will they stand or are they running? If they run, where will they run to twixt the fires and Malay? On the flanks a steady firing and with heavy guns advancing. Not a mother's son to save them neath the fires of Calais. Some cast their eyes toward the far horizon. Some cast their eyes upon the fires that turn the night to day. Some yet standing bold and ready to stoutly guard the rear from Jerry, who'll need no flares to see him neath the fires of Calais. Fished the channel waters since I was man enough to face them. For the heron and the flounder I have often hauled away, but a catch like this I've never seen in 40 years of sailing. Saving Tommies as they flounder neath the fires of Calais. The fishing boats roll out across the deep green channel waters. As they gather speed for Flanders, they'll cut their nets away. It's not herring we'll be pulling from the waters on this morning. We'll reap a bitter harvest from the fires of Calais. In case that wasn't clear, thank you. Thank you very much. In case that wasn't clear, the topic of that one was the evacuation of Dunkirk. A little over 50 years ago. This is going to be a big help, just a second. Oh, much better. The song was written by a Canadian named James Keelahan. I think it's one of the finest things he's written. And the line about cutting the nets away always chokes me, because that was the livelihood of the people that owned those boats. And at that time, the outset of World War II, at the thick of World War II, actually, on the continent, there was no way to replace those fishing nets. So cutting those nets away was a desperation move, and a move of extreme heroism and extreme sacrifice on the part of the boat owners, the fishermen. And I think it's a fine piece of work by James Keelahan. We were, Fee and I, had the privilege of a day sail on Elissa, or actually 2 days in the Gulf of Mexico off Galveston. They told us a story while we were there of the first day out with the volunteer crew after they had learned all their skills at the dock, and they got a chance to see what they really did at sea. And it turned out that day had a fair wind and a fair chop and a lot of really green sailors. The day was known thereafter as Green Tuesday. If I can remember enough of this, I never know whether this is appropriate to do or not, because it's an aspect of sailing life that is not normally celebrated in song. What I've put together is a heaving shanty. Which is called Green Tuesday. Shipmates pay heed to what I say while all the world's in motion. Green Tuesday was an awful day, rocking on the ocean. Okay, while all the world's in motion and rocking on the ocean come around a lot, so join in on them. Shipmates pave to what I say while all the world's in motion. Green Tuesday was an awful day, rocking on the ocean. Now the first 2 hours all was well, rocking on the ocean. And then there come an awful swell, rocking on the ocean. So heave her up and heave once more while all the world's in motion. We'll heave till we're all back ashore, rocking on the ocean. Now here comes Billy with a pail. All the world's in motion. There's no more room along the rail, rocking on the ocean. So heave her up and heave once more while all the world's in motion. We'll heave till we're all back ashore, rocking on the ocean. Now the cook was awful mad that day while all the world's in motion, because we heaved his meal away, rocking on the ocean. But all he gave for us to eat while the world's in motion was greasy stew and salted meat, rocking on the ocean. So heave her up and heave once more while all the world's in motion. We'll heave till we're all back ashore, rocking on the ocean. Well, you get the idea. In 1849, 1850, San Francisco Bay was the home port for Charles Melville Scammon, the whaling captain, who reasoned that since he saw the whales swimming south in the fall, swimming north in the spring, there had to be someplace south along the coast where they calved, where they wintered. He reasoned that if he could find this location, he could fill his oil barrels much faster, get back to port much quicker, make his profit that much faster. So he followed him. They found the lagoon, which is now called Scammon's Lagoon in Baja California, by the expedient of his lookout at the masthead, spotting a whale spouting in what should have been the desert. And they both knew that whales didn't walk, there had to be a body of water there. So they set out to find the entrance to the lagoon. It was a very shallow channel. It took them 2 days to navigate the ship in. They launched the boats, struck 3 whales. 2 of them immediately sank. They fleshed out the 3rd. The other 2 refloated. They retrieved them, fleshed them out, again launched the boats, and the whales attacked the longboats. Stove in half the boats and injured a great many of his crew, who then refused to man the boats again until a different strategy for whaling was worked out, which they did with the bomb lance. Scammon was as much a student of the Pacific mammal as he was a hunter. His book on the marine mammals of the Pacific is still the definitive textbook. He looked around at what was going on and he said that if whaling continued at the rate it was going in 1849, the whale would be extinct within 100 years. He was very nearly correct. I signed aboard this whaling ship. I made my mark, it's true. I'll serve out my span of time as I swore that I would do. But I'll not man your boats again though you cast me in the sea. For I tell you, sir, them fish can think as well as you or me. Just yesterday the lookout's call had bent us to our work. I took my place like all the rest, I'd not be one to shirk. Now 13 men's been drowned, no more of them you'll see. I believe them fish can think as well as you or me. We'd launched our boats against the tide and the Lancerd took his stand. He'd had no time to make his throw when the oar flew from my hand. And then that fluke, it smashed our boat. That whale I didn't see. I tell you, sir, them fish can think as well as you or me. For then the pod destroyed our boats, they rammed them one by one. With head and fluke they stove them all, until when they was done, what men was left alive and whole was clinging to debris. I'd swear my life them fish can think as well as you or me. Now the way them whalefish handled us, it seemed 'twas man for man. For each one had his target boat, they'd played it like they'd planned. And hunting things that think that way, well, my heart says let 'em be. Oh, I believe them fish can think as well as you or me. Now Jim is blind, John's lost a leg, and Caleb's lost below. My arm will heal, but there's other men no more aloft can go. So I'll not man your boats again, though you drown me in the sea. For I tell you, sir, them fish can think as well as you or me. One that I learned from a group called Siderman's Fancy, who are no longer together, is, I believe, a longshore shanty from somewhere in the Bahamas, somewhere in the Caribbean. It's a little more involved. Pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. Sam gone away aboard the man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. Sam gone away aboard the man of war. Okay, that comes around a lot. The Sam gone away aboard the man of war comes around a whole lot. So join in. I wish I was a gunner's mate aboard the man of war. Sam gone away aboard the man of war. Oh yes, I wish I was the gunner's mate on board the man of war. Sam gone away aboard the man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. Sam gone away aboard the man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. Sam gone away aboard the man of war. I wish I was a captain on board the man of war. Sam gone away aboard the man of war. Oh yes, I wish I was a captain on board the man of war. Sam gone away aboard the man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. Sam gone away aboard the man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. Sam gone away aboard the man of war. I wish I was a first mate on the man of war. Sam gone away aboard the man of war. Oh yes, I wish I was the first mate on board the man of war. Sam gone away aboard the man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. Sam gone away aboard the man. Pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. Sam gone away aboard the man of war. I believe I'm gonna stow aboard the man of war. Sam gone away aboard the man of war. I believe I'm gonna stow away on board the man of war. Sam gone away aboard the man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. The Sam gone away, board the man. Pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. The Sam gone away, board the man. Pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. Sam gone away, board the man of war.